In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can show and hide different elements on your screen based on your business's opening hours. Now, while that's what we're going to achieve at the end of today's video, it's not just about that. So if you don't have a physical business with opening hours, don't worry, because one of the main aims of today's video is to explore one of my favorite features of Bricks Builder, which is their echo function. So let's have a look at that. So if we have a look here on my screen, I have these two different banners here. This one here in the green says we're open, and I only want to show this when we're inside business hours. Outside of business hours, when we're closed, I want to hide this green banner, this section, and I only want to show this red one. So how do we go and do that? Well, we use conditions inside of Bricks Builder. So if I go back here to open and I go up to here to the conditions builder and I click here, you can see that I have these conditions. So here I check my business hours, and if my business is open, I will show this green bar. If we click on this red bar here, this red section, I check again. I check my business hours, and if my business hours are closed, then this will output on the page. So now you might be wondering, how do we go and check business hours? What is this all doing? This is the echo function, and this is the main reason of today's video, to explore this, because this is so powerful. And the more that I learn about Bricks Builder and what it can do and things like this echo function, the more I realized just how well you can go out and build a website and how complex you can make it with what Bricks and their team have actually given us. These things that don't really seem so powerful on the surface, just being able to write this single line of code, are extremely valuable. And I think today's example of trying to show and hide elements on the page based on business hours are going to give you a great introduction into what this echo function actually does and how it works, but then also it can spark some ideas of how you could go and use this in your business to customize your website. So if you haven't really played around with that echo function, or you specifically found this video because you're trying to show elements on your page based on business hours for your business, then definitely stick around and watch this video. There's a lot of content in here, and I really do feel like this is a feature everyone should know how to do inside of Bricks Builder. So let's get into the tutorial today. Today, I want to show you how you can go into Bricks Builder and show and hide different elements on your pages based on whether or not your store is opened. I've put together a blog post here, and I'm going to link to it in the description below under today's video. You can copy the code from this blog post, paste it into your website wherever you add custom PHP, and I'm going to show you how to do this in today's video. Then in here, you want to set your business's opening hours. So in the example code here, I've said that on a Monday, we're open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Same for Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, we open really early at 5 a.m. and then at 9 a.m. We have a little bit of a siesta, open back up at 12 p.m. for 15 minutes, clock off, and then our Friday here, Saturday and Sunday, we're closed. So once you go and update this to your business's hours, you'll then be able to come in here in Bricks Builder and click on any element inside the builder, and then go up to here under conditions, and then you can set whether or not you want this to show when the business is closed or opened. So for example, this section up the top here, when it's open, I'm saying I want to show this green section up the top when my business hours are open, and in the row it says we're open, give us a call on our phone number. And so here under the conditions, I say we check our business hours here. So basically what this is doing here is coming to our PHP function and just seeing if our business is open based on these. And if we are open, so if it contains open, then we show this green section on the page. If we come down to closed, if our business is closed, instead of asking them to call us, we say, hey, we're closed. Click here to email us on our contact form. So the way that would work on the front end, if I just zoom in here so you can see this bar a little bit closer, here it says we're closed, and the current time here is 1:36 p.m. and it's a Thursday. So you can see after 12:15 p.m. we're actually closed, because these are the hours that we're open. So if I adjust this and say I'm actually open from 12 p.m. to say 2 p.m. or 2:15 p.m. and it's 1:37, so we should actually be open here. If I save this and we go back to the front end and reload, see how this changes. So I'll just reload, and now it says we're open, give us a call. Now another way that I've used this feature in this demonstration today is as follows. So we have this bar changing up the top here. So if I go to say the home page and I'm a customer and it says we're open, give us a call. But let's just say I go back here and I change this to be 1:15 that we closed today, and it's 1:38 p.m. now, so we would be closed. And I go back and reload, it says we're closed, click here to email us. So if I click here I land on the contact page, and then I have a heading here that says our store is closed, please email us. Then they know to use that form. If we go back here and just make us so that we're open currently, so I'll just change this to 5 p.m. and save. So now we're open. If I go back here and reload, watch what happens to this heading. So I'll reload. Now the bar says we're open, and then down here it says our store is open, you can call us now. And if I go to edit this page inside Bricks, you can see that we have two different text elements here. So this one is the open and this one is the closed. So if I click on the open and I come up to here under conditions, you can see it's the exact same thing. So we check whether our business is open. So this just goes into our function here, checks the current time against these. So if we are open, this will output on the page because it says contains open. But if we go to the closed, it says contains closed. And we can do that exact same condition on any element inside a Bricks Builder and it will work exactly the same. So let's just say for this contact form, I don't want to output this form if we're actually open. I always want people to phone us. So here I could click on the form element and I could come up to here and say add. And then here I'm going to say dynamic data. And then here we go and use the Bricks echo function. So I'll write echo and then a colon and then the name of our PHP function. So if I go back here, this function is called WPirate business hours. So I just copy that, go back here, I paste that in there and I say, so if the result that we get back from our function says that our business, so contains, says that our business is closed. If our business is closed, we'll show this contact form. Otherwise, we're not going to output it on the page because we're open and we want them to call. So let's go ahead and save this. And then back here on the front end, because we're open, when we reload this page here, this should hide. So let's reload. And now that is hidden. If I go back here and just edit our hours to say 12:15, so that would mean that we're closed because again, it's 1:42 p.m. on a Thursday. If I go back here and reload, now that we're closed, we're saying our store is closed, please email us. And now that form is output on the page. So let's jump in, get this all set up from scratch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of tips along the way that are going to make testing this function a lot easier. So we're about to get into that. Before we actually do, I just want to mention a couple of things. The first one is that if we go back to this homepage, you can see that I have this section here with a background of surfing, which matches here. If I hover on skateboarding, the background will change to a skateboarding photo, and then this will change to snowboarding, roller skating, and kayaking. And as you go and do this, it's changing the background of that section. If you want to learn how to go and do that, I just posted this video here 6 hours ago, which shows you how to go and achieve that using the new interactions feature of Bricks Builder. So I'm going to link to that in the description below under today's video. And I need to get better at this. In the description under today's video, there is a link to go and get my WP toolkit. This enrolls you or signs you up to my mailing list. And when I do launch this, which is going to be my favorite WordPress plugins and how I use them in my businesses, you'll get an email to that course. It's going to be a free course that just goes through each of those plugins and tools and how I use them. So again, that will be below. But without further ado, let's get into this tutorial today. So I've just gone ahead and removed all that code from this website. So we're starting with it not there and we're going to add it all back in. I'm going to show you how I did it. So the first thing that we need to do is edit our header template and add those 2 rows up the top. So to do that, let's go up here and go to dashboard, and then we'll go to bricks and templates. And then on our header template, let's go edit with bricks. And then I'm just going to collapse this and we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and add our first section. So I'll go and search for section and we'll add that there. And I'm going to drag that above the header and I'm just going to rename this. So this is going to be our section for our business when it is open. And then on this section, let's go ahead and go to style and background. And I'm just going to make it a nice green background color so we can see what we're doing like that. Now, while we're here, let's also go to the layout. I'm just going to remove the default padding that gets added onto our sections. And then inside this container, let's go ahead and add our content. So I'm just going to do exactly what I showed you at the start of today's video, which if we go to elements, that was just a rich text element. So I'll add that in there. And then inside here, we'll go to content and we can start writing. So I'm just going to say we are call us on and then a phone number like this. And I might just make this bold as well. Now let's go ahead and go to style, and then under typography, we're going to make it a white text color. and then let's go and center it on the page. So I'll just go to the container and then the content, and we'll center here like that. Next, let's go ahead and design the one that says that we're closed. So to do that, I'm just going to come up to here and right click and then go duplicate. And then I'm just going to rename this to closed. And while we're here, let's go to style and then go down to background. And we're going to make this a red color like this, just so it stands out. And then let's go to the rich text and then content. And instead of saying we're open, we'll say we're closed. And then please email us. And then here, let's just hyperlink this to the contact page like this and go like that. And that should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then let's just preview this on the front end, and you can see it's looking pretty good. I might actually come back into the builder just so we can see a bit easier for today's video. I'm going to add some more padding on those bars. So let's go back here. So this section, style, and then for the padding, top, we'll go 0.5 m's and bottom, and the same for this section over here. We will do the exact same thing. Again, just so they stand out, and we'll click save. So now that we have our content there that we want to show and hide based on our business hours, let's jump over to the blog post. And again, this blog post is linked in the description under this video that you're currently watching, and it's code that I've added onto from this URL here. So if you want to see the original source on Stack Overflow and where people were offering solutions, I definitely recommend visiting that there. It'll take you to a page that looks like this. And if you go down, I basically just got this solution up here and made some slight tweaks for it to work for Bricks Builder. But coming back into here, we need to copy this PHP code and paste it into our website. And you want to do this wherever you add your custom PHP. So there's heaps of different ways that you can add PHP snippets to your website. The plugin that I use and I highly recommend you check out is this plugin here called WP Codebox. It has a lifetime deal. It's 20% off. If you go to the pricing page, you can see for a solo, it's $19. Again, with 20% off, it's a one-time payment. It is a massive time saver. It's where I add all my custom CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. It really is, it's just a great plugin. So back here on our website, let's go into the dashboard. And then here I have WP Codebox installed. So I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to go up here and go add a new snippet. And this is going to be, I'm going to call this snippet business opening hours. And we're going to leave it as a PHP. You can see you can do CSS, JavaScript, and so on. I'm just going to do standard PHP. We're going to load it on the pages on everywhere. You could do front end as well, like that. So it doesn't trigger on your back end, only your front end. And then we need to paste our PHP code here. So let's go back to the blog post. So it's going to copy everything. So let's just copy from up here and go all the way down to the bottom and copy. Come back here, and then we're going to select everything and clear it all out and paste. And we're going to get into this code in just a second, but let's go up and click save and then enable and save. And now that that's done, let's go to the front end and reload the page. And I just like to do that when I copy and paste PHP from around the web to see if it breaks anything. Maybe my website has a critical error and won't load, but it all seems to load fine, so we should be good to go. Now, we're not expecting these to show and hide just yet because we actually haven't added any conditions on these in Bricks Builder, but that's going to come up just in a second. So coming back here, the next thing that you want to do is add your opening hours. So let's say we're open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. most days, and then on Thursday, we open twice, so 5 to 9, and it's nearly 2 p.m. here in my time zone. So here, let's just say we're open from 1 p.m. to 3:15 p.m. today. Friday, we open these hours. Saturday and Sunday, we're closed. So this is going to be the one that's going to be triggering today in our video because this is the time frame that I'm within now. Again, it's nearly 2 p.m. here on a Thursday for me. So based on this, we should be open. Now you can also see if you need to add 2 different times on one day, just do what I did here on Thursday. So we have the square brackets, and then inside the square brackets, we have one set of times and then a comma and then a second set. So if on a Tuesday you are open for 2 different times, let's just say you open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., you would just come into the square brackets here and you would copy this set here. Then after that, you'd go comma, space, paste, and then you would update this. So this would be something like maybe you open back up at 6 p.m. and you go to something like 11 p.m. So inside the square brackets, one set, comma, the second set, and then the square brackets. But I'll just undo that for now, just so it's a bit easier for us to follow along. Now, once you've added your business hours, you need to come down here and you need to update the time zone of your business. So here, mine's Sydney, Australia. If you don't know how to go and update this here, you can just get this URL up the top here. that'll open up this URL here. And then let's just say you're in America. You can go down and find New York, for example, and you'll just copy this bit from here and then come back here and replace this there with that. But I'm just going to undo that for now because we're in Sydney and I just want to show you this while we're testing it on my time zone. But that is an important step. Now just go ahead and finally save this. And once you've done that, you're ready to jump into Bricks Builder and start showing and hiding things on the page based on those conditions. So to do that, back here in Bricks Builder, let's go ahead and I'm just going to collapse these so we can see what's going on. If we click on this section here that we want to show when our business is opened, we can then go up to here under conditions and we can add a condition and we can select dynamic data here because that is a feature inside of Bricks Builder that allows us to use our custom PHP function. So here we can just put the curly braces, we can write echo colon, and then we come back to our code and get the name of the function, which is this, like that. So I'll just copy. Back here in Bricks, we paste. And I'm going to go through exactly what this is doing in just a second. But once we've done that, because we want to show this when our business is open, we can come down to here and say contains and then says open. So now let's go ahead and save this. And remember, today, my time is Thursday at 2 p.m. So down here, Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So we should be open. So let's actually change this for this test. So we're open on a Thursday from 1 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. in the afternoon. So 15 minutes. And that would mean that we're currently closed. So I'm going to save this. And because we're currently closed, this top section should only show when we're open. So this should not output on the front end. So let's save this. And let's go back here and reload the front end. And now that has hidden. So that is working. So back in the builder, now let's go to this section here that we want to show when we're closed. And we're going to do the same thing. So we can actually click on the conditions here to open up the conditions builder. And when we do that, when we click through the different elements, it stays on there. It makes copying and pasting a lot faster. So we can actually just copy this from here. And then we can go down to this section for closed. And then here we're under conditions. We'll go add. And then here we're going to do dynamic data like that. And then we'll paste in that where we check our function to see if our business is open. And if our function says that our business, so contains, is closed, so our business is closed, then this red bar will show. So let's save this. And remember, we close on a Thursday at 1:15 p.m. and it's currently 2:09 p.m. So we should be closed. So if we come back here and reload the page, it says we're closed. But if we go back here and let's just say we close today at 5:15 p.m., which means we'd be open. Let's save this. And then coming back here, let's reload the page. And now it says we're open. So that's all working. So jumping back into Bricks Builder, I want to go through what this is actually doing. So here we've done dynamic data as a condition, and then we do echo and this. So what this does inside of Bricks Builder is it gets the result of this function here and it echoes it into this field here in the condition builder. So again, this is our function here. Let's jump over into our PHP and you just want to focus on where we return a value, because in PHP, wherever we return something, so return status, whatever status equals here will be output here in this field. So if we come back into here and you can see status equals closed, if I got rid of this for now and this function basically just ran and then status equals closed, and then we did return the status variable like that, which equals closed. Back here in Bricks Builder, this is just going to be replaced to closed, because closed, this text here, is what we returned here. We set the status variable to be closed, and then we returned the status variable. So closed gets output here, and then it checks. Does closed contain closed? Obviously it does. This is true. When this is true, then Bricks Builder will render this element on the page. So I'll just go ahead and undo that, and we'll come back into here and I'll undo what I just did with the code like that. But that's basically what we're doing here. Wherever this status variable is, it's either going to return the word closed, or if we go down here where we're looping through all the start and end time and we're trying to see if we're open, if it does deem that we are open, you can see status is now set to the word open. So the status variable equals the word open, and then it gets to the end here and it would return status, which would say open. So back here, when this runs if we are open, echo just means output the whatever is returned from this function. We know that we're returning status equals the word open. So this would just replace to open, and then it checks, does open contains down here, we could write open. If it does, then it would show this if our store was open. So that's an overview of this echo function here. I've done a couple of videos here on YouTube that go into it in more detail. It's not that complex, and this is where the power lies in Bricks Builder, where you can go and write a custom PHP function like we have done today, check if something's open, for example, the business is open, return true or false, and that allows us to do things inside of Bricks Builder that we can't do with the default native features that come within Bricks Builder. So this echo function, it is definitely worth spending some time getting to understand how it works, because yeah, it isn't overly complex, and it does unlock a lot of potential here in Bricks Builder. But now that we've had a look at what this is actually doing and how this logic is actually working, let's save this and let's go to the front page here. So we're currently open. If we go up to the top here and I write question mark and I write business hours and I write equals closed and press enter, you can see now it changes to where closed. But if we go back here and have a look at this function for Thursday between 1 and 5 p.m. we're open, and it's 2 p.m. on a Thursday, so we should actually be open right now, but I've just changed it to be closed. That's because I've actually set it up here so you can quickly diagnose things and force your store to be open or closed, so you can go and build your website fast using Bricks Builder instead of having to go and play around with these hours here. So up here you can write business hours equals closed to force it to be closed, or you could write business hours equals open and press enter, and then you'll force your store to be open, and then you can check that the content you want to show on the page here in Bricks Builder is showing for the specific store status. Again, the reason that I did that is just to make troubleshooting errors a lot easier. Now, the code that's responsible for this up here, if we go back, it's at the top of this function here. So force business hours status for debugging. So here we just check if the URL has this variable business hours, which is here. So you do a question mark, and then this is a URL variable. So if that exists, which it does, then the status equals whatever its value is, and then we return the status. So coming back here, if this variable equals the word that says open, here we'll check, is it there in the URL? Yes, it is. Set status to be whatever its value is, which in this case, we would be setting this to the word open, and then we return status, and status equals open. So basically we're just saying return open like that. So that's what this function is doing there. But basically, if that doesn't really make sense, all you need to know is that that is available for you there, and you can basically force your store into whichever status you want by doing what I just showed you. Now let's go one step further and start customizing the content that's on our page to make a little bit more sense for our user based on our store's status. And I just noticed I keep saying store. This could be for your website. It doesn't have to be a store. But if we go here, let's just go and get rid of this and press enter. Okay, so we're open. Let's go back here and say that we're closed. So I'm going to say we actually closed at 1:15. So I'm going to save this, go back and reload, and now we're closed. Please email us. So let's click on that. And then it says, let's talk, I'm here, which is obviously incorrect. So let's go ahead and edit with bricks. And then let's go down and click on this. And for this, we might actually say this is a heading, and we want to show this when we're open, because it says let's talk, I'm here, and then here we just say give us a call, we're open, our phone number is 0299999999, like that. So if we go here and have a look, this is that text container there, I think it is. Yeah, container. So this here, we want to show when we're open. So now let's just go ahead, and just to make this a little bit easier to follow along, I'm going to give this a background color. So style background, and here I'm going to say the background color is a nice light green, just so we can see that yes, we're open, it's green, give us a call. But now let's go ahead and duplicate this. So I'm going to right click and go duplicate, and then here this is going to be for when we're closed. And then here I'm just going to change this to a red color like that, just so we can see. And then let's just change this. So let's just say we are currently closed. Please email us using the form on this page. Let's quickly change this. Let's talk, we're open, like that. And this can say closed. So now to show and hide these based on the store thing, we just do exactly the same thing that we did previously. I'm going to click on this. We're going to go up to here to conditions, and then add a condition. And then here we'll do dynamic data. And then here we'll open up our curly brackets and write echo colon. Go back to here, and then we just need to get the name of our function. Go back to here and paste that. And then if the result that's returned from this function contains open, we want to show this. And then down here for the closed, we're going to do the same thing. So add a condition here, dynamic data like that. And then our bracket, echo, colon, the name of our function. And then if the result contains closed, that should work. You could also just go and not do close. So you could just only check whether or not you're open. So if you want to do that, you just say, check the business hours and check if it does not contain the word open. So it's closed. It's really up to you. I just realized that through this tutorial. There's so many different ways to do different things here. But here I'm just going to change that back to contains. So if it contains closed, and we'll click save. And then let's preview this on the front end. And you can see we're currently closed. We're currently closed. Please use the form on this page. And they just use this form here. If we go up to here and forced our store to be open just for debugging. So debugging, do I say that weird? Debugging. We could write business hours. And then here we'll write equals open and press enter. So now we're open. Let's talk. We're open. Give us a call. Now, when we're open, maybe we want to go and hide this contact form. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll come back into the builder and we're going to find this form here. And then we're going to go add a condition here and we'll do dynamic data. And then here, let's do the brackets again and do echo colon, then the name of our function. And if whatever we return from there contains closed, so we're closed, we don't want to show this, we say they must call us. Let's save that, go back here, and you can see we're open. So the form is hidden. Let's talk, give us a call. And if we get rid of this and go back to when we're closed, as per our business hours, we're closed, we're currently closed, there's the form. So as you can see, a lot of potential with this stuff. This was sort of about showing you how to do this based on when your store is open, the opening hours. It's also about me practicing my PHP, but more than anything, it's just about discovering how valuable this echo feature inside of Bricks Builder is. I feel like it has so much potential that if you don't understand how it works, you can't fully grasp how powerful Bricks Builder is and just how much you can customize it. So it really is one of the most important things that you need to learn about Bricks Builder, that echo feature. Don't forget to grab the code from the blog post linked in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe. We're nearly at 5,000 subscribers, and definitely check out the videos I mentioned in this video. I'm going to link them on the videos just right now so you can click on any one of these. These are the ones that I recommend you watch next. I'll see you in one of those videos.